So in this video today, we've got actually two builds. Now, we do have the first one, which is going to be about aces and eights, and basically how to just simply set it up, because aces is a very simple build. There's only typically about one way to put it. Now, you can trade the chess piece out for, say, the pristine example versus, headhunter using the chain killer. That's really about it. But the chain killer is always going to give you the more damage, or just using like a Raldes or something of that nature with headhunter on the chess piece. Now, we'll also be going over another build, tip of the spear. Now, I have two versions of tip of the spear that I'm going to be releasing, and I'm holding one off in case the devs do bring out specialization weapons to the DZ. Now, if they do that, I have another setup, and I'll release that at a later date. But until then, we're just going to show this version, because a lot of people say that this here is stronger, put together a certain way. So we're going to be debunking that or proving if it's right or not. So this is going to be a two-piece, two different build video, and let y'all decide on that. So the basic aces and eights is set up this way. Now, the weapons that you choose, that's your choice, but since we're using mostly the sniper rifles, we'll go over all these exotic sniper rifles to show which one's the better, why certain ones are not the best on here, as well as the backup weapon like the White Death, which always is going to give you the most potential headshot damage. So it's going to be hitting just for about the same as the Mantis right here. The White Death literally hits for the same as the Mantis. But I'll show you one version of why this particular White Death is the best version and gives more build diversity in certain manners. But the one thing I'm trying to figure out is still why this 8x scope right here, which would be great to use on like pristine example, why this here has not been fixed in this latest patch. That should be able to work, because then that would make this here, give it more build diversity for the pristine example. Because again, it works with the 8x scope. So, as for that, your specialist is basically going to be the sniper rifle. And your strongest one for the snipers is going to be this right here. You can literally hit to 109 mil per headshot. Now, on here, you can use decoys, you can use that, or you could even use the Achilles pulse right here. Now, again, the Achilles pulse, you're not always going to use this, because, yes, it can help you out, but I want y'all to notice there's not that many mods for this, except for one. This extra health right here. This gives that zone health some extra damage. So make sure if you use the Achilles pulse to put that health on there. That's what it's for. So that's going to give your character a little bit extra damage in that spot. Now, it's not a whole lot, but when you compare it to what the sniper rifles do, it can actually make like an extra mil almost per damage in that spot. Now, again, the White Death, I have future perfect. Now, this is going to help that Achilles pulse when you shoot it to where it gives extra spots, versus using the Mantis, which would be the decoy, which would give you some little bit extra damage. That's why we use the White Death version and the Nemesis to give us the most potential damage out of this build. So as you see, we got an elite. So let's just take this sucker out. And I'll post the numbers up in screen rather than trying to call them out, because these are very hard to see sometimes when they're red and it's one shot. So you can see we're nearly maxed out. Now, we can't show in the shooting range the decoy proc to give us the extra damage. So now we have our White Death. And you see we've nearly capped everything out. So we've got our future perfect for, as you can see by the charges on the hive. And see, now we get multiple areas. This allows for the better headshots to get that extra damage for that Achilles as well. Not just the Reviver hive to help pick up your teammates, but it allows for that Achilles to not just give you one spot. As you can see, it can give multiple spots. Now, another one that a lot of people want to use, it's the exact same setup, but they're using the Dread Edict. Now, this here will give you more headshot damage as you keep getting headshot kills, headshots. So, yes, the Dread Edict can sometimes be a 2-tap like this if you don't get it stacked up. And then once you start getting it fully stacked up, it can basically be a 1-tap. Because you've got the more headshot damage. You haven't had to reload. You've got all the Dread Edict boost. But it's nowhere near, as you can see, it's nowhere near the damage for, say, named enemies. So you will eventually lose that damage. So is it strong enough for this? Yes, against yellows, but it is not best in slot. Now, it does give that option to give you some armor, the blue armor. So that's an extra bonus to using it, but it's never going to be the strongest thing for your aces and eights. And we're trying to get that Achilles pulse to hit up there so we can show what that would do. And having a hard time getting it to get to the headshot, 3rd time in a row. Now again, we have skill cooldown, so we can throw this up here. But there we go. So I think it was like 29 or something.
Nice.
So now we're going to get into tip of the spear. Now, there are multiple ways to run this. The strongest that everybody wants to claim is still using the headhunter and then using like the memento backpack versus, say, the gift backpack to get the extra headshot damage. Some people say that you could still run this with all blues, which honestly you could if you wanted to run this with all blues. If you could get that perfect gift backpack and then do the same, it would still slap just as hard. So we're just going to run this as an all red just to see what the max potential damage is out of this, because we also want to show the different versions of not just running it with the Regulus pistol, but also using it with sniper rifles. Because people claim that this build is really strong for snipers compared to the aces and eights. So we'll be debunking that and proving if it's true or not. So right now I have my memento backpack version, and we have the exotic pistol. I'm losing my train of thought right now. But anyway, we have that. Now, to get the extra damage, we have to use a specialization weapon. That's going to give us, I believe, 20% extra damage on top of that, and then allow us to basically almost one-tap anything, no matter what we use, pretty much, as long as we have that headhunter. See, this is a group. They just boom and they're gone. Now, if I were to set this up for anything above challenging or heroic, it wouldn't be almost a one-tap. But as you can still see, we have it on heroic with normal, which is an easier setting to try to do so. So a lot of people get misled by that. So we're just going to see what the max damage is. So you see we have 14,309 on this. Now that's the memento version. And people claim that that's the strongest way to do so, which also gives you armor regen. It gives you the ability to get your skills back and keep the shield up, which they're not wrong in that sense. But the absolute strongest would be putting on the gift backpack like this, getting that extra headshot damage out of the build, and then running it with all blue. Now, if you manage to find all those pieces with the blue, which is very hard to do, yes, it can hit for extremely hard, and you have the survivability because you'll have the armor, and you'd still be able to use the shield. You wouldn't need the memento backpack. Now, the memento backpack would still give you the armor regen, so there's that aspect that a lot of people don't know or forget to mention when they try to say that it's not a strong build. You can see we hit the headshots, get this thing stacked up. It only takes about 2 shots. Then we got to get the extra piece for the tip of the spear, so we got to use a specialization weapon. And to make sure that we get that, get a few kills, and good. Okay, so we'll do a few more just in case. Now, let's see what the damage is difference on this. So let's go to the target. So you saw 14.3. Let's see what it hits now. Oh, 15.8. Now, again, if you got shot, you would lose your vigilance. So a lot of people forget to mention that. So is the Memento backpack stronger because you can avoid the damage and not lose your vigilance? Yes. Again, we can hit even higher, 16.3. So we've gotten an extra 2 mil out of this version than the Memento backpack. And you can even put in 5% more by getting like a D&H chest piece with Headhunter and get the exact same, maybe a little higher. And then you can actually put on the Memento backpack to give yourself survivability by getting those kills and so on. So it's not a bad setup to put it that way. So do you need the Providence chest or Providence backpack with Vigilance? No, you do not need to put that on there. As long as you're getting the kills, you'll have the armor regen, and then you get the D&H chest piece like this chain killer, and you'll be just as good. So now we're going to test out the sniper rifle version. Now, again, we don't have to take off the pistol. We can just put on the sniper rifle and test it this way to see if it's stronger than some of the other ones. Now, we'll be testing with the same setup as the Aces. So we have a gift backpack, and we're going to trade out for the Araldis to get the extra damage to see, because some people say having one-piece Providence is stronger than having the Araldis on there for the sniper rifle. So we're going to prove that one if it's true or not. So let's go ahead and get our extra damage. Okay. And let's actually get some extra kills and get that Headhunter going. And then we'll throw the numbers up on the screen once we get how did I miss that? Alright, so we got named. Oh, you would go to there. Redo. Right, there we go. And shoot. So that's the damage right there, and then we can show the regular damage. Yeah, let's see what that is again. So that's not actually pretty bad. So now we're going to try the Araldis version. Just like the Aces and Eights, we're going to see if we get the extra damage out from using the Araldis to use the sniper version. And make sure we get our extra damage back. Make sure we get our Headhunter just in case, even though it doesn't show up on your screen. Sometimes you still want to make sure you get those extra shots off. And one more time. So there's the damage numbers for that version.
Emotional, damn it! Golf clap? Golf clap.